This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good afternoon, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Tim Daniel. I'm a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. I've been podcasting about the Reds for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and the Riverfront. And I want to thank you all for spending some time with me as we discuss Zack Wheeler just flat out dominating the Cincinnati Reds today for the Phillies in a 3-1 series clinching loss today for the Redlegs. If you're just checking me out for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. Please be sure to hit that notification button here on YouTube so you can get my show after each and every game and get Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. If you can't check us out here on YouTube each and every day, subscribe to us on your podcast app of choice. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Hold on, where are we at? This episode, take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for 50% off your first year. On today's show, Zack Wheeler. Unbelievable performance today. Can't even be mad at him. But we can discuss how the Reds did not look ready for that. Chase Burns redeemed himself pretty well today. We're going to talk about Burns' performance. And to quote the great Bob Uecker playing the great Harry Doyle, one hit, one gosh darn hit. I won't say the actual one because we can't. It's a family environment. All that and a whole lot more, and I'm going to touch base with you all to see how you're feeling about today's day as well. So, with that being said, let's get started.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think we've come back down to earth a little bit. Not rock bottom. I'm not panicking. I'm not freaking out. I'm not saying this Reds team just played over their heads. Any of that. No, not so whatsoever. What I'm saying is they have some steps to take if they want to get to this level. And, you walk out of that Yankees series and you feel really good as they had a couple weeks ago. They obviously go on and win the next series. You feel really good about that. They beat the Tigers. They beat really good teams. And I thought the win Friday on the 4th of July against Philadelphia was awesome. I was really impressed with how they came back in that game and how they fought. And of course, my dogs are going crazy right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but they won't stop barking. Good timing by them there. Just pretty symbolic of the Reds game today. But then you face a guy like Zack Wheeler, and you get to him first with the Austin Hayes solo shot, and you get nothing from that. Zack Wheeler today, complete game. 1 earned run, no walks, 12 strikeouts. Good, Dave. Good. I'm glad to hear that you guys aren't. And here's the thing. The Reds had chances today. We talked about this yesterday, right? We're basically having the same conversation. The Reds had chances. Philly did everything they possibly could to keep the Reds in the game. It's not like they were dominating on the other side. They were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 on base today. You got to capitalize on that. There's so many things about this game, and they got escaped on a lot of things. Scott Barlow has the bases loaded. Onions. Get some outs there. Great. You love to see that. But the CES error, what is he doing? Why is he trying to get in front of Ellie De La Cruz of all people there? Notice he was pulled in the next inning for Espinal to come in as a defense replacement. Also, why is Espinal getting that at bat? Why are we still doing this? Okay, that was my frustration moment of the day. But why are we still doing this? I'm just kind of perplexed because I get it. You're facing one of the best pitchers in the National League. Dude's awesome. Can't take anything away from him. But you see where you're at now. And if I'm Nick Krall and I watch what I just watched, there's no way I'm content with where my team's at. There's no way that I look at how I just saw this team match up against Zack Wheeler and Ranger Suarez the past 2 days and go, yeah, we're right there. Let's just get our guys back. This comments he had to Mark Sheldon today. Just so discouraging. Just absolutely discouraging. I understand the idea of like, look, we don't have Hunter Green right now. We don't have Jake Fraley. You're probably not going to have Jake Fraley the rest of the year. That injury doesn't sound promising. And also, are you waiting on Jake Fraley? I like him. I thought he's had a pretty decent year. He's hit pretty well before he got injured. Are you really waiting on Jake Fraley? Like, is that your, like, Is that your reinforcement? Come on, man. I don't think that they're at that spot. And I think that's okay. I'm not saying like, hey, they've got to be world beaters, but this was a bad road trip. You had the lead in the second Red Sox game before when he picks up from suspension, when Spencer Steer hits the homer. You do nothing the rest of the day. You beat him on a bullpen day. Awesome. You go out there 4th of July, you beat that Phillies team, and you give your team a chance to win the series. Awesome. Yesterday, you take the lead first. Will Benson solo shot. Can't do anything with it. Today, once again, you take the lead. Your one hit of the day is an Austin Hayes solo shot. And then you just let them come back in. And that's not to say that the Reds, that's not to say the Phillies aren't deserving of these wins. They certainly are. They're very good. We've talked about this now for a couple days. They're going to be a World Series contender. They're deep. They can pitch really well. They've got everything going for them. But if you're the Reds, you're now seeing like if that's a team that you feel like you can get into the postseason, grab that last wild card spot, and you're going against them, you don't feel good about that matchup, right? And I know there's some people are going to say like, hey, you know what? It's just nice they made the playoffs. Sure. We've had too many. It's nice to make the playoffs other than the 2012 team. The 2012 team should have won the World Series. I stand by that and I'll stand by that forever. But it's time to see if you're Nick Kroll, if you're the front office and you saw how your team played these last 2 days, you don't feel good. You don't feel good about how they are against the elite of the National League. And I think that that's brutal. So it's a frustrating day. Obviously, I have all the respect and roll for what Zack Wheeler did. He's awesome. But seeing the Reds kind of get one hit like this, not drawing a single walk when there's one pitcher on the hill and a shutout is really frustrating because this is a team who's done really well with the bat in the hand of late in the last 2 days. Haven't done a whole lot. But you know what? You have 2 favorable series coming up on paper. With this last home stretch for the All-Star break. So maybe they can pull some wins together. That's what we want to see. But let's close the negativity. Let's turn to the positivity, shall we? Because Chase Burns today, I was really happy with. I thought, and I want to talk about that much more than I want to talk about the offense doing nothing right after this. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. One thing that was really surprising for me when I started using Monarch Money was how much I was spending at Fanatics. I love getting collectibles. I love baseball hats. I love jerseys. I love hoodies. I love signed baseballs. I love trading cards. You name it. I had to have it. And Monarch Money really made me open a lot of my eyes to, I got to get serious and crack down and make sure I get a little bit more picky and choosy with the items I order from Fanatics. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Want to give a quick shout out to all our everydayers here on the postcast as we discuss an unfortunate Reds loss to the Philadelphia Phillies, a series clinching loss to the Phillies 3-1 today at Citizens Bank Park. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Like I said, if you haven't checked this out before, please be sure to hit that notification button so you can not only get my show after each and every game, but get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. Let's go ahead and see when this game probably didn't go the Reds' way.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I'm going to go here with the old solid Bryson Stott 2-run homer to bring in him and JT Realmuto in the bottom of the 8th off Tony Santillan, and say that was probably the dagger for the Redlegs today. And because there was a lot of situations that game where it felt like the game was hanging on by a thread and they couldn't put anything together. So that was kind of it. Let's talk about Chase Burns today, because obviously coming off of what I will guess is going to be the worst start he ever has in his big league career, I was really happy with today. Now, here's what we kind of take away from it. This is still a learning lesson for him, but I feel very pleased about where he is. The 4 walks today, you don't want that, obviously, especially in only 4 2/3, but I think he's going to crack down on that. He's only going to get better. I mean, look, we're still talking about a guy that's 22 years old, and the stuff is awesome. I mean, you look at the first inning, Trey Turner has the opening single, and then he walks Schwarber, and then has Bryce Harper looking foolish, strikes out the next two batters as well. And from there, has a couple more walks the rest of the day, but just gets everybody. 7 strikeouts today in 4 2/3. 91 pitches. I don't have an issue with where Francona pulled him necessarily, per se, but I would have liked to have seen him get another whack at Harper there. And Schwarber. Well, no, Schwarber was already on, but I digress. You get what I'm saying. 91 pitches through 4 2/3 is obviously not where you wanted to be, but also the fact that he threw 55 pitches in the first 2 innings, and the third and fourth, he threw like 28 or 29. He cracked down, he got some outs, and you could tell that when the confidence came back, the confidence with him seems like it's going to be the big thing as we go through here. You looked at that Yankee game, goes out there, strikes out the side, swaggers on full. Red Sox game wasn't, didn't get to the point to get to his swagger to where he could get guys out. After the McLean error, probably felt like he was rushing himself and just throwing. Today, looked like it possibly could have been bad. And when he cracked down, he took a deep breath. He went out there and took care of business. You saw him kind of get back to being the Chase Burns that we've been reading about and we've been seeing come through the minors all along. And the other good thing is his next start is going to be against the Rockies, who on paper, again, I want to make sure I emphasize on paper because anything can happen. You feel really good about that matchup, right? It's the Rockies. So you can see him kind of have another confidence start before the All-Star break. But I really liked how he threw the ball today. The walks are going to crack down. He's going to be just fine. I really feel good about him. And I think, the Reds did not miss whatsoever on that pick. So and he's like number 2 on the MLB pipeline prospect line now. So absolutely awesome from him. Sam Moll comes in there, gives up the 1 Burns run, ties the game. Okay, sure. Scott Barlow gets himself in a little bit of a jam there, gets out of it. Really awesome inning. Graham Ashcraft, man, love to see Graham Ashcraft showing that energy again when he strikes out Castellanos. That was great. And Tony Santillan might as well have just underhanded that ball from 20 feet in front of Bryson Stott, because that might have been his worst pitch of the year. I do appreciate that Santillan has been able to get a little bit of a rest of late after he pitched every single game, it feels like, for the majority of the year. But if you want to look at trends, I talk about them when they're good all the time, right? In his last 7 games, he has only gone 6 1/3. He has given up 4 earned runs. He has walked 4 batters, and he has a 5.68 ERA. I understand reliever ERAs are fickle. I don't think ERA is the be all end all. It's not a good sign. So hopefully he can get things going again as we kind of get to this final stretch against teams that they should beat. Granted, they've already lost the series to the Marlins this year, but that was the old Reds. The new Reds are here, right? And of course, we did have one moment today that leads to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I guess it's Austin Hayes. I mean, you have one note on your whole offense, and it's a solo shot from him. It's your only hit of the day. I guess you don't really have much more of a choice. You could say Chase Burns, but he'll get that. He'll get many of those in the time the postcast will be around. I was really happy to see Austin Hayes get that homer today, give the Reds a lead before Philly put 3 unanswered up. And I've really liked that he's been back on the team because I feel like things just get better when he's around. With that being said, hasn't been great since he's been back. Now, you can for sure tell me, hey man, he's still getting comfortable with playing baseball regularly again. Sure. I can go with that. Last 7 games, 207 batting average. Last 15 games, 224 batting average. His last 15 games he's played, he has 1 walk. 1. He has 2 home runs. And he has 15 strikeouts. So, last year obviously wasn't a great year for him. And but that's probably why the Reds got him in the situation they got him towards the end of the offseason. But, when he came back from the IL the first time, he was awesome and came out like a bat out of hell. Teams have made adjustments to him. Now, can we see him make the adjustments? I like Austin Hayes as a player. I think that he can definitely help this team. And today was nice to see him get that home run, but they need more from him. I mean, let's just kind of call it what it is. I understand he came off an injury, and I'm not trying to be a hot take guy here. But it's time for him to the Reds probably need a little bit more from him if they want to get going. And like I said in the first segment, if the Reds want to get going, I think they're going to have to get some deals going. We can't have any of this Nick Krall wait and see stuff like he's saying to Mark Sheldon, like we've seen in the past. Get your team better. All right. Like today should have been a wake-up call. They've played awesome baseball. I'm not discouraged by where they're at. But if you want to be successful, look at the team that you just saw in the other dugout and what they were able to do these last 2 days. That's where you want to be. Look what they're doing. You may not have the payroll they have. I get that. But time to see what you guys can do. Make your team better. Give your team a chance. I think they've 100% earned the right to get their roster improved with how they've played for the last month and a half. Ball's in your court, Nick Krall. Make something happen. With that being said, I'm going to go and close out today's episode of the Postcast. The Philadelphia Phillies are victorious over the Cincinnati Reds 3-1 today. The Phillies 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The Cincinnati Reds 1 run on 1 hit and 1 error. Your winning pitcher today is Zack Wheeler. He is now 9-3. Your losing pitcher is Tony Santillan. He is now 1-2. And the Cincinnati Redlegs return home tomorrow to face the Miami Marlins to start a 7-game homestand before the All-Star break. First pitch will be at 7:10. We have Brady Singer taking the hill. He is 7-6 with a 4.36 ERA. He'll be against Jansen Junk on the Marlins. What a cool name for a pitcher. Junk. I like it. He's 2-1 with a 3.62 ERA. Like we said, first pitch is at 7:10. So I'll see you all a little later tomorrow evening, hopefully discussing a big Redlegs win, get things going back on track after this disappointing road trip. I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow night. Go Reds.